Today's topic is national insurance, NIC, called National Insurance Contribution, the full name. So please write, there are five types of national insurance contribution. First one being the class 1 employee NIC. We'll discuss all types of NICs. One is class 1 employee NIC. So please write under this heading, all employees above the age of 16 are required to pay this contribution based on their cash earning at following rates. So these are the rates: £1 to 12,570. We are talking about cash earning. If employees' cash earning is up to 12,570, there is no class 1 employee NIC, mean this is 0%. If the employee's income is in between 12,571 and 50270, then 13.25% of his cash income. Cash income, when we say, it means salary, bonus, etc. We're talking about this, not the benefit. We are not talking about any benefit, right? So this is 13.25%, and above 50270, it is 3.25%. Remember, these rates will be given to you in exam. If it is required, the rate will be provided. So you don't need to remember these rates, but you must be able to apply the rate. So, for example, if someone has total income of, let's suppose, 60,000. So how much is the class 1 employee NIC? So what we shall do, we shall apply that it is 50,000. So for this 50,000, we should take first 12,570 is 0%. So, and then next is 50270 at 13%, 50270 minus 12571. 30, what we shall do, we shall write this 50270 minus 12571. This is 37,700. So this 37,700 is charged at 0.1325, or you can calculate the 13.25%. So the total is 12252.5. So this is one figure which we have calculated for the salary up to this, and remaining amount, which is, I told you that the total amount is 60,000. Total income for the employee is 60,000. Out of that 60,000, we have already assessed 50270. So 9730 is remaining. Okay, 60,000 minus 50270. This is equal to 9,000. 90730. So this is the remaining amount, and we shall take 3.25%. So 0.325, we can write this. So 0.0325. It will give us 316.225. So you can add both these, that is 316.225 and 12,252.5. This will be the total class 1 employee NIC in respect of that employee. So my example is that an employee has a total income of 60,000. The total income, when we say, it is only on the employment income we are talking about, because this is class 1 employee NIC. So employment income, even not all the employment income, only cash earned employment income, which includes salary, bonus, or any cash payment. So this class 1 employee NIC is based on that income. So you must be able to apply these rates. Up to 12,570, there is nothing. Above 12,570, up to 50270, the rate is 13.25. Okay, and anything above 50270, the rate is 3.25%. So you have to, break the income into different bands. Okay, so this is called class 1 employee NIC.
But can I speak?
Yes,
Uh, Here in this case, the 12,570 is that allowed that it's an exemption from the government. Yeah, I forgot what is that word for it. Tax subsidy which they received.
this is something, this is NIC, National Insurance Contribution. This is something which employee will pay. Okay,
Okay.
this is other than tax. This is another form of a tax. Okay, apart from
So in
income tax, employee has to pay this amount as well into national insurance contribution. There is a fund. This NIC is what? This is a fund in which employees contribute, employers contribute, and other businessmen also contribute. So this fund is used to for the welfare of the old people and the retired people and any needy people. So everyone has to contribute into this fund. This is apart from the income tax. So this is another type of a tax, you can say.
okay, that part I understood. Thank you. But
Yeah, and this,
what I'm confused is for 1 to 12,570 it is 0. So
yeah,
okay. Then 12,501 till 50,270 it is 13.25.
yes,
So as it goes more, it becomes less. The contribution is less,
yes, exactly.
3.25.
Yes, exactly. This is an example of regressive taxation. We call it regressive taxation. This is not unlike in the income tax. Income tax, as the income increases, the tax rate further increases. But this is not like that.
Understood, sir.
Got it?
Thank you.
So, you're welcome. So moving ahead, please write next point. Class 1 employer NIC. This is the second type of NIC. What you need to remember is that which NIC is based on which income. For example, if I talk about class 1 employee NIC, class 1 employee NIC are the percentages based on the employee's cash earning. And the percentage and these threshold will be given to you. Then class 1 employer NIC. This is also in respect of the employee's earning, but the rates are different. So please write this and then you see this. Employers are required to pay this contribution on behalf of their employees who are above the age of 16 on their cash earnings at following rates. Again, these rates will be provided to you in exam. So it says that employers, now there is one contribution which is paid by employee and the one contribution paid by employer based on the same earning. Let's suppose if we talk about that 60,000 was the earning of the employee, we have calculated class 1 employee NIC. Employer will also pay class 1 employer NIC, and that will also be considered as that it is paid by employee. Although it will be paid by employer, and employer will pay other than the salary. The salary 60,000 employer has already paid, and employee has paid class 1 employee NIC on that. Okay, it will be deducted from the salary of the employee. We are talking about class 1 employee. But the class 1 employer will not be deducted from the employee salary. Instead, employer will pay this as an extra additional amount other than salary. But it is also based on the same salary. So it means if the employee is salary is 60,000, apart from class 1 employee NIC, the class 1 employer NIC is also to be submitted to the NIC contribution. And how much is that? Up to 9,100, nothing above 9,100, 0%. So, sorry, above 9,100, it is 15.05%. So it means what we shall do, we shall take 60,000 minus 9,100. So all the amount is charged at 15.05. Okay. So this is class 1 employer NIC. Whatever this amount is, this will also be deposited into NIC fund by the employer on behalf of the employee. Means this contribution is not considered as that this is okay, this is something which employer has deposited. No, this is employer has deposited on behalf of the employee. Okay. Let's suppose I am your employer, you are my employee. So you earned 60,000 salary. First, what I will do, as an employer, I will calculate class 1 employee NIC. I will deduct that from your salary 60,000 and remaining salary I will pay you. And this amount plus this amount, I will pay both these amounts to the NIC contribution, class 1 employee and class 1 employer. Means in fund, it is deposited by employer, regardless it is employee NIC or employer NIC, deposited by employer. But the class 1 employee NIC is deducted from employee's salary, whereas class 1 employer NIC is paid by employer, but the percentage is again based on the same amount, which is the employee's cash earnings. I hope you guys have understood this. If you have any question, any query, please you may ask.
I have a question, sir.
Yes.
This NIC contribution which is made by the employee, right? He will
Yeah.
receive the benefit in the future, right? Like when he's achieving
No,
retirement.
no benefit for this. This is not pension. This is a tax. I am already telling you. This is another form of a tax.
Okay, okay.
Okay. So this is not the pension. Only that is what you are talking. It is about the pension contribution, which we already studied. So do not mix it with the contribution, right? This is I already told you. This is another form of a tax. So next, please, right? Third is sorry. Continue with this class 1 employer NIC. The second NIC heading is employment allowance. As you know, employer has to pay this NIC in respect of every employee. Employee is only required to pay in respect of his own NIC, but employer is to pay on behalf of all the employees. So there is an employment allowance available that employer can deduct this figure from the total employer NIC and remaining is paid. Please write, if point employers can reduce their total class 1 employer NIC by 5,000 pounds. So employment allowance is 5,000 pounds. So let's suppose if you are my only two employees, say Johnson and uh, Rafi, you are my only two employees. I have to pay NIC class 1 employer NIC on your behalf. Let's suppose the total value of this NIC is 4,500. So it means I will pay nothing to NIC because up to 5,000 I am allowed to, I am exempt. I can reduce my NIC by 5,000. So it means 4,500 will be contributed from your side. It will be considered that 4,500 is paid on behalf of the employees, but practically it will be paid nothing because all is covered under the employment allowance. So next, please write the allowance cannot be used against any other class of NIC. This employment allowance can be used by the employer only against class 1 employer NIC, which is based on the employee's earning on behalf of the employee. So next point, third class is class 1A. Third type of NIC is class 1A NIC. Please write this point, then we'll discuss this. Okay, it says that employers are required to pay this contribution on behalf of their employees who are above the age of 16, means same working, but the issue is on their taxable benefit. The rate is same as it is for the class 1 employer NIC, 15.05%, but the base is different on which it is calculated. And what is base? It is taxable benefit. If it's a car benefit, if it is a loan benefit, if it's an accommodation benefit. So whatever the benefit, taxable employment benefit you have learned to calculate in employment income, employer have to pay another tax on those benefits provided to the employees at the rate of 15.05%. And remember, there is no basic exemption 0% in this benefit. All the benefits are taxed at 15.05% as far as NIC is concerned. Class 1 employer NIC is based on the cash earning of the employee, and class 1A NIC is based on the benefits, taxable benefits provided to the employee. Both these are paid by the employer in his capacity as an employer. Okay? Remember, employer has two capacities. One, he is an employer. Second, he is a businessman. Okay? So as an employer, he will be paying these two NICs, and as a businessman, he will be paying further two NICs. We'll discuss those. So far we have discussed three NICs. Class 1 employee, which is paid by employee, means it will be deducted from employee salary and based on the cash earnings of the employee. Then class 1 employer, again based on cash earnings of the employees, but paid by employer. Then class 1A, again paid by employer, but based on the taxable benefit paid to the employee. So no 0% threshold in this. The next point in this is employer can deduct this contribution from their profits as a tax allowable expense. We are talking about both types of NIC, whether it is class 1 employer NIC, whether it is class 1A NIC. Both can be deducted from the profits as a allowable expense. As I told you, employer is also a businessman, so he will be preparing his trading profits, so he can deduct these NICs as an expense from its profits while calculating taxable trading profit. Next is class 1 NICs are payable by the employers under pay by 22nd of each month. We are talking about class 1 NICs, mean all three class 1. Class 1 employee, class 1 employer, class 1A. As I told you, payment is to be made by the employer, except class 1 employee will be deducted from employee salary, whereas class 1 employer and class 1A both are to be paid from the employer's own pocket. But the date of payment is 22nd. Under the pay means this is something which is automatically deducted from the employee salary, or employer will include its portion and it is paid to the HMRC tax authorities by 22nd of each month. So this is something other than income tax. Let me tell you, other than income tax, this is extra tax which is to be paid by the employer. So moving on to the next type of the NIC is class 2 NIC. Please ignore this line which you are looking. The first point under this class 2 is this, and then second point is also there. Please write both points and then we'll discuss it. Okay, it says self-employed individuals are required to pay this contribution from the age of 16 to pensionable age on their trading profits at a flat rate of 3.15 pounds per week if their profits are more than 12,570. So see this threshold, this payment is based on the profits. If profits increase this threshold, then the businessman. Now we are talking about businessman. Remember, all the employers who are sole trader and they have employees, they will be paying class 1 employer, class 1A, and now this class 2 as well. If their profits are more than 12,570, if the profit is 12,570 exact or less, they don't have to pay anything. Class 2, they don't have to pay any amount for class 2. But if the profits exceeds this limit, then they have to pay a fixed amount, which is 3.15 per week. So normally for the whole year, we will multiply it by 52 and it will be an annual class 2 NIC for the employer, for the sole trader, not for the employer, for the sole trader, because this is based on profit. And the date of payment for this NIC is 31st January after the end of tax year. So it means if we talk about this 22-23 tax year, it is ending on 5th April 23. After that, the 31st January is 31st January 24. So class 2 NIC date is up to 31st January 24. This is paid only once in a year, whereas class 1 employee, class 1 employer, and class 1A, that is paid on monthly basis. This class 2 is paid only once in a year because this is based on profit and profits are calculated once in a year. So next is class 4 NIC, the last one, class 4 NIC. So this is again paid by self-employed individuals after their 16th birthday, or you can say the 16 years of age from the start of the tax year after reaching pensionable age on their trading profits at the following year. Simple definition for this whole sentence is that self-employed individuals also pay class 4 NIC. You will not be required these age and what is the age for the payment of this and what is the age for the payment of stock. You need to know about the calculation stuff. So these rates will also be given to you. So these are the same threshold which we have already studied in respect of class 1 employee NIC. But remember, those were based on employee's income and these are based on self-employed person's profit. Okay, but the threshold and the rates are different. Threshold is the same. Please write this point and then we shall summarize all the NICs. Sorry. Okay. This class 4 NIC is also paid by self-employed individual, meaning the person who is trading, who is a businessman. He will also pay this class 4 NIC This is based on his profits. Okay, based on the profits, self-employed. You see that trading profits at £1 to this 0%, above 12,571, 10.25%, and above 50,270, 3.25%. So remember, the same method is to be applied for the calculation as we have learned for the class on employee NIC. But the difference is this is on the profit. So if now let's see, let me sum up all these NICs. If a person is only employee, he or she will pay only class 1 employee NIC on its cash earning. Story ends here for the employee. He will not by himself pay, but this will be deducted from his or her salary and it will be paid to HMRC by the employer. One thing. Now the employer has to pay class 1 employer NIC on behalf of that employee based on the rates which will be provided. Then employer has to pay class 1A if he is providing any taxable benefit to the employee in respect of those employees based on the rates which will be provided. Then that employer in his capacity as a businessman, as a sole trader, that employer will also pay a class 2 NIC if its profit is increased, exceeded than the threshold 12,570 which will be provided to you in exam, or it will be or it will he will also pay class 4 NIC based on the profits, but the rates are different. Okay, so rates will be provided to you. So it means any person doing business and having employees, he has to pay class 1 employer NIC, class 1A NIC, class 2 NIC, class 4 NIC if all the conditions are met. So I hope I have made myself clear. So that's it about the